Hello, and welcome to my second ever vlog. It's New Year's Eve today, or Hogmanay as we say in Scotland. It's the last day of 2024. My first vlog was on Christmas Eve. Today is New Year's Eve, and today we're going to do something slightly illicit, or it feels like it's illicit. I don't think it is, but it always feels a little bit like it is, because we're going to go to a place called the Loch of Skene, and there's an interesting thing I want to show you there. But whenever you're around this area, it always feels like the locals, the people who live around here, don't want people coming in and using it for recreational use. As far as I'm aware, you are allowed to, but it always feels like the locals are just against it. I remember a little while ago, a few years ago, there's a car park over on the other side and I parked in it. And one of the locals came out and was a bit grumpy with me for parking there. And he's now resurrected car park closed sign. I don't know if he's allowed to, I don't know if it's official, but it just feels like the locals around here don't like people coming in and exploring. But I'm going to give it a go anyway, and we'll see how we get on. And if we run into any trouble, then be prepared for some action. It'll make for a good vlog at least. But I don't think we will. Let's go check it out. Okay, the first thing you've got to do is to cross this field, and sometimes you can't because there's crops in it, and obviously that's the first barrier to getting into this place. But right now, because it's the winter, there's nothing here, and that makes it passable and that makes it okay. So we're just approaching the first sign that people don't want you in here, though. And it's this little fence that we've got to jump over, but as you can see, there's some barbed wire that's been wrapped around it, which doesn't make it easy. There's a little bit of barbed wire being put there. Now over the other side of that fence we get to this really marshy bit because we're approaching the loch. I always feel like it's a shame that they haven't made more of this and that they don't welcome people in, because it could be this really nice recreational space to walk dogs. If they put a path around it, then it'd be a great little spot. And just a great place to ride bikes and to run and jog and stuff like that. And I don't know why they've never developed it in that way. But anyway, it's all a bit marshy, a bit boggy, so it's not the easiest to get through, especially right now. There must have been some rain because it's especially boggy right now. You may notice there's no dogs here today, actually, now that I mentioned dogs. And the reason there's no Ollie and Raff Raff today is because there are swans around here quite often, and swans and dogs just don't mix. So that's why I've decided to leave them at home at the moment. But you might see them later on though. It depends how the day goes. I love these trees and the way the lichen hangs off of them. It means that the air's really fresh here when you see lichen, because it doesn't grow in places where there's pollution. So it's always a good sign when you see this lichen just hanging off the trees, and it just looks really nice as well. Just looks really, I don't know, atmospheric. As you may be able to see, there is a kind of path in the ground here. So it is a path that's kind of trodden. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if it's coming out in the camera, but there is a kind of path, a way trail here. What do they call it? A desire trail here. So it seems like something that does get used. But I just think they could do so much more with it. Oh, and here we are already. So this is the temple. Yeah, so this is known as the temple. And it's not a temple, it just looks like one. And as you can see, they've got a lot of barriers up now, which didn't used to be here, but it's another kind of sign that they don't want people hanging around here. Yeah, I think what this warning sign suggests is that maybe people were coming here to jump and dive and climb up the monument, and they were getting a little worried that they might be liable for injury or death, and so they decided to put up these barriers, which is a shame because it's just a cool little thing to come and enjoy and have a look at. But yeah, obviously if kids have been coming here, they don't want to be held responsible. This is a big estate that used to belong to Dinecht, or still does belong to Dinecht Estates actually, but there used to be a big house up there. And I believe that these stood outside, and it was kind of like where the horse carriages would come through. And then they moved it, I believe, to the other side of the loch somewhere as the new entrance to the entire estate. But then they put up even more impressive entry gates, and so they didn't know what to do with this, and they just stuck it here, and it looks kind of like a temple, so that's why it's called a temple. I think that's what it is. I don't know when they were built. It looks like they're made out of granite, as most things around here are Aberdeen granite, and I don't really have a great deal much information to say, but it just looks pretty cool, and it's a bit of a curiosity, so I just thought I'd come out and show you that. And I hope you've enjoyed that little tour. I don't know if you can see the swans out there, but that's the reason why Ollie and Rafa are not here today, because if they were, I wouldn't trust Ollie not to jump in the water and try and swim out and catch one, and that would not end well. So, yeah. And it's good to let the swans have their peace anyway. Maybe that's why they don't have a path around here actually, because they just want to have the wildlife and give them peace, which is fair enough. So yeah, that's that place. I think we'll go somewhere else now, because that was such a short little trip. There's somewhere else I can show you, which is very close to here as well. So let's do that. It's extremely boggy. It's a good thing I wore my boots today. If you can see, but there's a cyclist over there who's kind of scuppered my plans, because I still don't feel confident enough vlogging in public with people around to do it with a random person standing watching. So I'm kind of waiting for her to leave, but I feel like she's waiting for me to leave as well. She keeps on glancing over at the car. So we're kind of scuppering each other, I think. And if she doesn't move soon, then I will. And I'll just end the vlog there. But I can be quite stubborn with these kind of things. I can sit here all day. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. This has turned into a bit of a situation. Okay, I've been sitting here for quite some time, and I've got to give it to the cyclist lady. She's pretty stubborn, and I respect it. I respect her skills and her determination to get this place to herself. She's still kind of just wandering about, loitering, and occasionally glancing over to the car as though she wants me to leave. And I think I'm going to give her it. I'm going to give her the W, because I respect her determination here. And I was thinking maybe she's up to something dodgy, because it's New Year's Eve and it's a stone circle. I can tell you now, it's an ancient stone circle I was going to show you just there. And maybe because it's New Year's Eve, she was wanting to do some kind of dodgy thing around the stone circle, because I think dodgy things do happen around stone circles sometimes. So anyway, yeah, I respect her skills. She's a worthy foe. I think she's beaten me, and I'm just going to go home. But I hope you've enjoyed this vlog anyway. We saw some good things. We saw the temple at the Loch of Skene at least. So it's not been a complete washout. And yeah, I think I'll just see you in the next one. Unless she moves in the next few seconds, but I don't think she will. I think she's really determined that she's going to get this place to herself. But anyway, hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. And Happy New Year if you haven't celebrated it already. I imagine by the time you see this, by the time I upload this, it'll already be 2025, but I can still say it. Happy New Year, and I hope you have a great 2025. I'll see you in the next video, hopefully.